Once again, I'm very excited to be here once more because I believe the Lord will do a great and mighty thing in our midst. Amen. Okay. Tell the person next to you, I am glad that you are here.
I am glad that you are here.
This afternoon, let me be speaking to you something that is very relevant. Amen. We come to the church because we want answers. Is that right? We come to the church expecting that the Lord will speak to us in a very relevant and in a very important way that we can apply it in our lives. Amen. So we want everything that we will hear become practical. Amen. So I just want to speak about the subject that everybody can relate to. And this subject is all about pressure. Say it with me. Pressure. Do you know what pressure is? Have you experienced in your life how it's like to be in a very pressuring situation? Have you been pressured?
Yes.
Are you being pressured right now? Yes. Are there some pressures happening in your life?
Yes.
Amen? Then very good. Because the Lord will tell you something right how to deal with your lives. Even our speakers are in pressure right now. Amen? But that will not stop us from hearing the word of the Lord. Amen. Because this afternoon, we will learn what pressure does and what is the effect of pressure in our lives. Amen. Because this message is entitled, Better Under Pressure. Can you say it with me? Better Under Pressure.
Better under pressure.
It goes to say that if I'm under a pressuring situation, I'm becoming better. Amen? It's telling me that once I'm in a situation that is really causing me too much pressure, God is not punishing me. God is polishing me. God is trying to God is trying to squeeze out something in me that will only get out when I'm in a situation that it can be squeezed. Amen? So if you are pressured, congratulations. If you're in a situation that is of too much high pressure, then God is starting to do something great in your life. Amen.
Amen.
So, you should know how to preach to yourself in moments of pressure. Because sometimes, when we are in a pressuring situation, we're looking for someone to preach to us. It's not bad to look for someone to preach to you, but you should also know how to preach to yourself. Do you preach to yourself? Are you having a self-meeting every morning? Like today, this is what we will do self, okay? Today, we will do good at work. Today, we will be productive. Do you discipline yourself? Because the most difficult disciple is yourself. Amen. Your pressure defines how strong you are in the Lord. So the verse that we have read, let's just read it all together again. Let's look at the next slide. It says here, let's read together. We do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about the troubles we experienced in the province of Asia. We were under what? They were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt we had received the sentence of death. But this happened that we might not rely on ourselves, but on God who raises the dead. He has delivered us from such a deadly peril, and take note, and He will deliver us again. On Him we have set our hope that He will continue to deliver us as you help us by your prayers. Then many will give thanks on our behalf for the gracious favor granted us in answer to the prayers of many. So this was Paul. This was Paul writing to the people in Corinth, to the Corinthians. He was telling them, we are in such a great pressure. Take note, even Paul is going through too much pressure. If you are going through too much pressure, you are not alone. Tell the person next to you, you are not alone. Don't ever think you're the only one experiencing that. You are not alone. Amen? Because even Paul went through too much pressure, not once. But he goes to say that he was beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Indeed, we felt it's like the sentence of death. Have you had the pressure that it's like, Lord, is this a death sentence from you? Paul was going through this much. But he goes on to say, but the God who has delivered us will deliver us and will continue to deliver us. He was not afraid of pressure. Pressure was afraid of him. Are you there? He was not afraid of pressure. Pressure was afraid of him. Is pressure afraid of you? Do you know this cockroach? In the Philippines, we don't have cockroach. We have cockroach. Yeah? When the cockroach is not flying, they are afraid of the people. When they begin to fly, the people run. Don't be afraid of your pressure. Amen? Because you know what pressure can do? Let's look at the next slide. Can you read together? Pressure can burst a pipe or make a diamond. When there's too much pressure in the pipe, it might burst. But the same pressure, more pressure, can create a diamond. Will you burst? Or will you become a diamond? In the pressure that you're facing on right now, will you just self-destruct? Or you will say, no, because of this, I'm going to be better. Are you there? You know diamonds, right? What are the girl's best friend? What are the girl's best friend? Jesus. And they say, diamonds are girl's best friend. This is what the world says. But do you believe that diamonds are very expensive? How long here you have diamonds? The real one. Not the one that you buy from somewhere that looks like a diamond, but it's not. Real diamonds cost too much, right? And do you happen to know that diamonds and coal, or in Tagalog, uling, are of the same element, carbon? But the uling, the coal, that we just use for barbecue, didn't go through much pressure. The diamond did. So it's up for you if you want to be an uling or a diamond. Do you want to be a coal or become a diamond? Because if you will say, I don't want this pressure anymore, then become a coal. But if you're someone, pressure, bring it on. Then you can just become a diamond. Shine bright like a diamond. Amen? And I haven't even seen a woman who's wearing an earring and then the pendant is a coal. Or I haven't seen any young gentleman who would go to his wife and say, will you marry me with a ring with a coal? Because it doesn't have any value on it. But because the same carbon went through much pressure, it became so valuable. If the Lord is making you go through too much pressure, the Lord wants you to be very valuable.
Amen.
Amen. Tell the person next to you, I am valuable. You know how where diamonds are made? I will give you a recipe to making diamonds, okay? Number 1, bury carbon dioxide 100 miles into the earth. Number 2, heat to about 2,200 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 3, squeeze under pressure of 725,000 pounds per square inch. And number 4, quickly rush towards Earth's surface to cool. Then you have a diamond. What the diamond went through is not easy, but it's worth it. What your life may be going through may not be easy, but hey, come on, it's going to be worth it. Because the Lord's light will shine even more. Amen? Tell the person next to you, it's worth it.
It's worth it.
So let me tell you again, have you been through pressure? Before when we say, I'm having pressure, we would all be sad. It's very, I'm in a high pressure situation. But right now, you can tell others, you know what? At work, it's very pressure. But you can smile because you know, I am better under pressure. In the same way that Paul is becoming better and better under pressure, you also can. Amen. So, that's what he said. We can always talk about pressure. We can spend too much time talking about whose pressure is bigger and better than other pressures. When we talk with our office mates, we tell them, you know what? My situation is very high pressure. And it's office mates know that, you know what? Mine is more. You know what? No, mine is most. We can spend so much time comparing our pressures. but rather talking about the severity of your pressure, we should focus on learning about what that pressure can do in our lives. Amen? So as what I've said, today you will all be preachers to yourself. And this is what you will preach. Point number 1, when you are in a very high pressure situation, this is what you have to preach. I have been here before. Amen. It is, when you're facing a very pressuring situation, it's not the first time. You have been there before. You have been there in a situation that's more difficult than that. When you remind yourself, I have been here before, you can tell yourself, if I was able to survive it the last time, what's making me think I won't survive it this time? Amen. I have been here before. Can you tell that to yourself? I have been here before. Amen. Isn't that so comforting? I have been here before. See, I'm still here. I'm still alive. I've been here before. Been there, done that. You don't have salary? Again? You've been there before. You're given a big task. Again? You've been there before. Don't act as if this is my first time facing it. You know what? I have a trivia to say. My salary has always been delayed for the last 3 months. I've been there before. And even others will ask. Even my boss will ask, how are you surviving? Even my own boss will ask me that. And I will say, because I have a God of more than enough. I don't even know. I will tell my boss, I don't even know. But I can say to my boss, this is how faith works. Because my faith is not just a head knowledge faith. The kind of faith that we have to our living God is the kind of faith that we will taste and see. This is not the kind of faith that you will just hear and think about. That's why the word of the Lord says, taste and see that the Lord is good. Because when you see it, have you seen have you seen pastel? The food called pastel? The rice with shredded fish on top, wrapped on banana leaves. Have you seen that? Who hasn't seen that? Many hasn't seen that. I can describe it to you. You can have a mental thought. You might see it, but if you don't taste it, you will not really experience it. And the goodness of the Lord is the same thing. He doesn't just want you to see it to others happening. He wants you to taste it. Because it's good. Are you there? Amen. Learn to remind yourself that it is not the first time that you have been in the situation that is difficult. Because you know what the devil will do when you're in a pressure, in a difficult situation? He will give you spiritual amnesia. It's easy for you to forget the goodness of God. Amen? It's easy for you to be, for the memory to be deleted that, hey, God was able to deliver you before. Why be a crybaby again today? Don't have an amnesia. Memo plus gold. Tell the person I said, don't forget. Don't forget because God is good. You know what happened? The Israelites, we know the story. The Israelites were delivered from the hands of the Egyptians. And they were very excited. They were walking on the Red Sea. They were seeing the sea becoming a wall. They were very excited. Maybe they were thinking on the other side, maybe there's buffet, maybe there's party, maybe there's eat all you can. But when they were walking, and when they finally reached the other side, what was there? Nothing. Even water. And they were beginning to complain, what kind of God is this? Did you just really bring us here to die? They forgot that just 3 days back, the God who is very powerful made a way in the sea. And at that time, they forgot how powerful God is. That they were even complaining, what is this, no water? You know what the Israelites, what happened to them? They were not just Israelites. You know what, for them in Tagalog, they are reclamites. For the English, they are murmurites. They are negativites. They were complaining to God, and God was not pleased on that. When you're in a tough situation, remember the time that the Lord has delivered you. Because the word of the Lord says, the God who delivers you will deliver you and will continue to deliver you. Amen? Because the God will not leave you. When pressure comes, I've been here before. He goes on to say in verse 8 of the same verse, we do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters. It's not as if I'm acting like there's no pressure about the troubles we experience in the province of Asia. Paul was saying, you know what? We want you to know there's pressure. But if you read on to the further verses, he did not discuss what the pressure is. He just said there's pressure. But he did not waste his time talking about the pressure. He was talking more about what the pressure caused inside of him. He was not discussing what caused the pressure, but what caused the pressure inside of him. Ladies and gentlemen, don't be an emo. When somebody asks you, how are you? And then suddenly it's like there's a background music playing in your head that's going to make you cry. And all you can say, all you can do is this: have a pity party. You know what? It's so tough. You may not understand the things that I'm going through, blah, 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 blah. Hey, stop talking about your pressure. Stop talking about the mountain. Start talking to the mountain. Amen. Amen. Don't sulk in your pity party. No one won by crying. You're not the baby anymore. You cannot use crying just to get what you want. It's okay to cry to the Lord. Amen. But to always cry, you know what? I cannot take this anymore. Grow up. Amen. Amen. Because you are a victor, not a victim. Stop acting like one. Amen. Amen. Stop acting like I'm a victim of circumstances. Because if you were me, you would understand. Hey, come on. When Jesus died on the cross, He clearly said, it is finished. Why are you living on the thing that was already finished on the cross? Amen. Are you there? Amen. Tell again yourself, it is finished. It is finished. God did not bring Paul to a breaking point. He brought him to a point beyond the breaking point. We always say, I have a breaking point, okay? It's only up till here. You know what God did? Okay, Paul, here's your breaking point. Let me bring you here. Are you ready for that? But remember this, when you are in your breaking point, there are only two things. Either you break down or you break through. You know what happens when you break down? You just cry and feel like the world is ganging up on you. But someone who breaks through doesn't even mind. He would say to the pressure, bring it on. Are you still there? Amen. Can you tell your pressure, bring it on? Bring it on! Amen. In the same verse in B, it says here, we were under great pressure, far beyond our ability to endure, so that we despaired of life itself. Have you experienced that? Have you experienced being in a situation far beyond that you can endure? If you have experienced that, again, you are not alone. Paul went through that in the same way. You know what the Greek word for pressure was? What it actually means? It means no way out. It means a total block, a dead end, a total unavailability of an exit. That's what pressure is. Yeah? What are the examples of pressure that we're in? Maybe having a partner is a pressure. How old are you now? I'm already this old. You still don't have a boyfriend? Oh my goodness. Finding a job. What visa are you in? I'm in a 3 months visa. And it's already 2 months and 2 weeks. I still don't have a job. It's pressure, right? It's pressure when you go home and when you open your fridge, all you have is water. Right? It's pressure to be good. It's pressure to perform. It's pressure when your boss tells you to do one thing and you don't really have any idea how to do it, but he expects you to do it. Amen.
Amen.
It's pressure, like when you're already married and then people are expecting, when's the baby coming? It's a pressure, right? It's a pressure when your family back home doesn't even know that you don't have anything to eat and they begin to call you, hey, we need this, and that. And then you cannot tell them, hey, come on, you don't know what I'm going through here. You wish just smile, but deep inside you, it's still a pressure, right? The same pressure, like there's no way out. There's no exit. Remember the Israelites, when they were running away from the Egyptians? They were led to the Red Sea. And they were saying, uh-oh, should we go another way? When they were starting to turn around, the Egyptians are there. No way out. And others said, what kind of God is this? See, enemy, you choose, you drown or you get killed. What kind of pressure was that? But Moses believed, I am better under pressure. God, you brought us here. You will bring us further. God, you will not stop. If you brought us here in the Red Sea, rather than finding another way around, God, you can do something. That was when God started to do something so great. He was able to make a highway in the sea.
Amen.
Are you in your dead end? The same God who made a way in the sea is the same God who will make a way for you. If you just don't crumble down. Amen? Remind yourself, I've been here before and God rescued me and He will do it again. He will do it again. Amen? And He also, do you know David? Do you know David? Not your best friend David, the other David, the David from the Bible. Yeah? They were having pressure because the Philistines were taunting on them, were ganging up on them. Hey, you Israelites, you little chicken. You know what Saul was doing? He was hiding while David was bringing with cheese sandwich to his brothers. He was saying, what's that giant doing? And then he began to say to the king, you know what, king? I can kill that giant. You know what Saul did? Let's read the next verse. Saul replied, you are not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You are only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth. Isn't that pressure? He was so confident. You know what, king? I can do all things through Christ. I can do this. But then the king was like, hey, come on, let's be real this time. You can't do it. You're just a young guy. But you know what David said? And David said, the Lord who delivered me from the paw of the lion and from the paw of the bear will deliver me from the hand of this Philistine. The same God who delivered me from all those beasts will be the same God who will work in my life. That's why I'm this confident. We can say David may not be in the same situation, but he is serving the same God. Amen. You may not be in the same situation. It may be tougher this time, but I have a good news for you. God doesn't change.
Amen.
God doesn't change. Because the God who delivered you from unemployment is the same God who will deliver you from what you're going through right now. But the same God who has delivered you from all the pressures in life will be the same God who will deliver you now. He will not start to fail. He will never fail. Amen? The devil tell the devil this, I have been here before. Can you tell the devil, I have been here before? Amen. The devil tried to destroy you, but he hasn't and he couldn't. The devil tried to destroy you by telling you your boyfriend left you, you're good for nothing. Hey, you're still surviving right now.
Amen.
He's not succeeded. The same devil is telling you, hey, you would lose your job. But you didn't. He's trying, but he can't. And tell with me, he cannot destroy me. Can you tell that to yourself?
He cannot destroy me.
Number 2. I have come this far. Can you tell that to yourself?
I
have come this far. Can you still remember when you were all baby Christians? Look how far you've come. Look how far you are right now. If the Lord was able to deliver you before, He can bring you further. Amen?
Amen.
In Romans 5:3, he goes on to say, next slide. He goes to say, not only that, but we rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that suffering produces endurance. Do you want to endure? Do you know that your suffering can cause you to endure? So the more that you suffer, the more that you learn endurance. Amen. Is anybody among you here have been in the army? No? Almost. No? Okay, almost. In school, do you have that ROTC thing? That so you have that? Have you gone through that? Congratulations to me, I haven't gone through that. I had myself exempted. Because I didn't want to. Because looking at them, it's tough. They can stand, they can even sneeze. They would roll over the floor, they would do everything what the commander tells them to do. It's tough, man. I was like, I cannot do that. I go to the choir because the choir is exempted. I'll just sing. And I'm exempted. But then I get to read this. That the training of the combat force, especially in units, is the toughest. They will literally bring you to the point of death. That's how training is. They will put you in water. Let's look at this one. They will put you in water. They will put you with chains on. You will not sleep. They will literally drown you. And when there's all bubbles, right? When there's no more bubbles, okay, you're done. Your sleep will be counted, your food will be counted. And then somebody asked, why do you even allow yourself to be treated that way? Somebody was asking one, why do you allow yourself to be treated that way? You know what he replied? They're doing me a favor. What? They're doing me a favor. Why? Because they're teaching me pressure so that when I can face something that is against me, I can be reminded I was able to come this far. I've been through that. I'm now this far. It will not scare me anymore. Amen. Tells you, we cannot give you salary this time. Thank you for doing me a favor, boss. You're teaching me to become better. Amen. The trainings they get allows them to be tough in their real life battles. Say to the person next to you, you are tough.
You are tough.
You are tough with conviction. You are tough.
You are tough.
You tell the person next to you, you've come this far.
You've come this far.
You've come this far. You will not stop. This is not the right time for you to stop. If you've come this far, push even more. Amen? Number 3. What's the first one? I have been here before. Number 2. I have gone this far. Number 3.
I am not the son.
Pastor, I am not the sun. Yeah. Okay. Science tells you that where is the sun? The sun is in the center of the earth. Sun is in the center of the universe, right? And all the planets revolve around it. I haven't seen the sun revolve around the earth. The earth should revolve around the sun. You are not the sun. The world does not revolve around you. Sometimes, you think of yourself, let me say this in Tagalog, you are very GGSS. Gwapong-gwapo sa sarili. Gandang-ganda sa sarili. Galing na galing sa sarili. Let me just say that. What does it mean? You have that so much high confidence without any basis to yourself. You think you're just too good to have God. I am good, I'm well, I have salary, I have girls, I have this. I'll just go to God when I'm broke. At the point, God is bringing you to a breaking point to make you realize that you are not the sun. The world does not revolve around you. Wake up. The verse in 2 Corinthians 1 verse 9 it says, "Indeed, we felt we had received the sentence of death, but this happened that this is not rely on ourselves, but on whom? But on God who raises the dead." When you're in a pressuring situation, don't suck it all up in and absorb it all in. Learn to deflect the light and tell God, Lord, you know I cannot bear this on my own. But I have a God who will be with me, who will deliver me. Lord, can you lift this up? Because most of the time we think, I can handle this, I'm too good for this. But no, you can only do all things through Christ, not through you. Let your pressure teach you how to rely to God. Amen? Amen. Sometimes God allows us to go to so much pressure so that we can depend on Him even the more. Often we have the tendency to carry the load on our shoulders, trying to do things on your own. But if in the very beginning of our little God, Lord, share tayo, then it can be better. It could have been better. Amen? He says in Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 to 30, "Come to me, all of you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, for I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light." Lord, this is my burden. Lord, this is your burden. Shall we swap burdens because your burden is light? Are you there? Have that connection to God. Always remember, the world does not revolve around you. The world goes on without you. The ocean rolls without you. Even if, let me just speak to all those who serve the Lord, to those who do ministry. Even if you won't come to church, a church will still be church. Amen. Don't feel too much as if I won't go to church, no one will do this. Of course, someone will do that. Amen. God is still God without you. Huwag masyadong mataas yung presyo, kapatid. Amen. The sun will still rise without you. The sun will still set without you. When you die, you know what the people will be talking about 3 hours after? Where's the food? Exactly. Where's the food? Amen. It's not about you. It's about God. Don't ever feel you're doing favor for God while serving Him. You are favored that you're serving God. Not the other way around. Walang utang na loob sa'yo ang Diyos, kapatid. Lord, I'm singing here, ha? I'm doing you a favor. No. Because many could have sang, but the Lord shows you He's doing you a favor. Amen. Amen. The pulsating beat of the universe does not depend when you rise and fall. It doesn't, when you fall, the world stops. Amen. The world will still turn. The world, you may fall, the world will still fall, but in your failure, God can bring you a message. Amen. In your failure, God can bring out something so great. Amen. No matter how many times you fail, you fall, the world will continue to revolve, and each day is also a new beginning to try again. Amen. Try again. Tell the person next to you, try again.
Try again.
Can you tell this with conviction? 1, 2, 3, go.
I am better under pressure.
Amen. So when you talk about pressure right now, you don't feel the burden anymore. I am better under pressure. Because I have been here before. I have come this far. I'm not the son. I am better under pressure. Amen. Amen. Because we spend so much of our lives thinking, what if we don't have this pressure? What if I'm born in another country? What if my parents are not my parents? What if I'm more guapo? What if I'm this? But I'm not. Instead of thinking so much about having not pressure, think about this. Pressure creates power. We're engineers here. Pressure creates power. Without pressure, there's no power. If the Lord is putting you in too much pressure, you are about to experience too much power. Amen. Do not tell the Lord, Lord, can you lessen the pressure, God? It's too much. Pressure equals power. Do you want to be more powerful?
Amen.
Through Christ?
Amen.
Welcome pressure in your life. Because I am better under pressure. Amen. In Romans chapter 5, verse 3 to 4, it says here, and not only this, but with joy, let us exult in our sufferings and rejoice in our hardships, knowing that hardship, distress, pressure, trouble produces patient endurance, and endurance, proven character, spiritual maturity, and proven character, hope and confidence, assurance of eternal salvation.
Amen.
It all begins with finding joy in your pressure. Amen?
Amen.
Be careful when you pray for patience because God will give you pressure. Lord, give me patience, He will make you wait. And the waiting game is a not so fun thing to be in. Amen? There are some things that can only be produced by pressure. Do you know Moses? How many times did God intentionally harden the heart of Pharaoh for Moses whenever he goes? But He did that so that His glory will be revealed even the more. Amen? Do you know Daniel?
Amen.
What happened to Daniel? Lion's den. God could have delivered him from the lion's den. He did not do that. God delivered Daniel in the lion's den. God could have changed the king's heart. Do not put Daniel to the lion's den. But God said, okay, bring Daniel to the lion's den, and you people see what I can do when he's in so much pressure. Amen. See what He can do. And he was there. Maybe he was preaching to the lions. You lion one, behave. You lion two, king. Are you there?
Amen.
When you're in a pressuring situation, preach to your pressure. You know what? My God is bigger. He cannot do anything to me. And your pressure will start. And you come out better. Do you know Joseph? He dreamed to become a prince someday, and his brothers will kneel down before him. You know what God did? Brought him to the well, sold him as a servant, accused him of something he did not do, brought to the prison, that became a prince, became the second in rank in Egypt. Thank you, pressure. Are you there? If God is making you go through something, He's making you come out someone better. Amen? Yung mga lahat na nang-iwan sa'yo, huyo sila sa'yo. Amen? You know, Jesus went through too much pressure as well. He was through too much pressure. The night before He was crucified, He was even telling God, if you can take this cup away from me, can you? But it's not my will. It's your will be done. You know how nervous he was? Instead of sweat dropping down from him, it was blood. That's a condition called hematohydrosis, when someone is in too much pressure. All the veins begin to burst, and then blood begins to come out. Even Jesus went through too much pressure, but that pressure caused Him to save you and me. Amen. He was in Gethsemane. You know what's the meaning of Gethsemane? Olive press. It's an olive press. Olive is good as an olive, but it becomes better when it becomes an olive oil. But for it to become an olive oil, you gotta press it. Grapes is good as a grape, but it's better when it becomes wine. But for it to become wine, you have to step on it. Flour is good as a flower, but it becomes a perfume when you crush it. Do you want to become a better version of yourself? Are you ready to be stepped on, crushed, squeezed? Because you are better under pressure. Amen. When you are pressured, there is something that God has put inside you that He wants to be released. There's going to be an anointing that will be released. Because you can stand up and still sing to the world, I went through too much pressure. But God is still good. The song of Barry Manilow says, I made it through the rain and found myself respected by the others who got trained onto and made it through. If you made it through your pressure, you're an encouragement to others, telling them that they too can go through their pressure when they have God in their lives. Because the children's song says, if God is in my vessel, I can smile at the storm.
Amen.
Amen. No matter how strong the storm is, you're still smiling. God's in my vessel. Everyone is singing, and you're still smiling. Because you are better under pressure. Amen. It doesn't matter where the pressure comes from, but with what you do with it, that will determine what it will do into your life, what the pressure will do to my life. To produce the purpose of God within you, don't be afraid of your pressure. Amen? Do you know the pressure cooker as I close? Have you seen a pressure cooker? You want to eat bulalo? Yeah? You love bulalo? Bulalo is good, right? Without pressure cooker, it will take how many hours for the bulalo to be eatable? 5 hours. In pressure cooker, you can have 1.5 hours. Same result, but faster through pressure. You can be there, but if you despise pressure, it might take time. Do you want to expedite the process? Go through your pressure. Because God knows the exact temperature for you to be in. God knows the exact pressure for you to be in. Because you are better under pressure. And next time when life squeezes you and no one's around you, encourage yourself. Can you do that? Can you encourage yourself? When nobody's gonna tap you, still again, you have your own hands, tap your back. It's okay. You know what? David went through too much pressure. Once upon a time, David had a fight and he had this huge fight. He had all the men in Ziklag. He took all his men. They fought. They won. When they were on their way home, they were very excited to tell their wives and their children that they won. Far away from home, they saw smoke. They were saying, our wives have barbecue party for us. Maybe they're cooking because they're happy. But they were becoming to get closer. It's not a barbecue party. It's their house on barbecue. Their houses are being burned. Their wives are not there. Their children are no longer there. And you know what the soldiers did? Big soldiers. They were beginning to cry. Can you imagine? How loud could it have been? And they were asking David, what will we do with our wives? This is all your fault. And this is what David did. And David was greatly distressed. For the people spake of stoning him, because the soul of all the people was grieved, every man for his sons and for his daughters. But David encouraged himself in the Lord his God. If no one's going to encourage you, do it for yourself. Amen? Get your head up, roll your neck a little bit, remind yourself, I'm not the son, and I am better under pressure. Amen? Shall we give the glory to God? Can we all be standing in the presence of the Lord? God, that my wife was diagnosed with polycystic ovaries. That was too much pressure. The devil was knocking at the door, asking us, tempting us to fear. But what we did, we just continue to claim and receive the word of the Lord. 2 weeks after that, you know what happened? We took the pregnancy test. Because this was where I said that I sowed, because I believe the Lord will do something amidst the pressure. God said, before she took the pregnancy test, I asked a word from the Lord. You know what the Lord said? He who began a good work in you shall be faithful to bring it into completion. Because God is a God of completion. He started something, He will finish it. So she took the pregnancy test, and praise the Lord, it was positive. So we want to praise God. We want to praise God because really God is victorious. Amen? And the baby is always doubling his height every week. 3 weeks ago, he's just 7 mm. Another week, it's 14. And the last time we checked, it's 28. So I was like, should I prepare for a baby clothes or a kid's clothes? Yeah, but that is how great and how awesome our God is. Thank you very much for joining us.